Paul Paulson, I actually don't have anything nice to say to you right now. For once. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be, I hope, a bit of a quick live. Apologies to those in chat. I'll try and catch up with chat towards the end of this, but I just want to get this video done. The quickest way to do it was to do it live. I actually recorded a proper review for this earlier on today, but I made such a balls up of it. And I felt I was being a little bit unfair on Aaron in some of the things that I said or was trying to say. So I thought I would have a cup of coffee, chill, go and sit in the toilet for half an hour, voop, come back, and here we are. We're ready to go again. So, yes, I'm just going to crack into this. I'm going to do this while hopefully there's nobody here watching it. And Aaron, if you watch this, remember at the start of our conversations you said you were going to have to get a thicker skin. I hope you have a thicker skin. I'm sorry. Right, I'll also say at the start of this, there's a young man that goes by the name of Tone Ohm. You may know his reviews. He has already done a review for this product. So if you want to know more, then 1, go and join the Facebook group. 2, go and watch Tone Ohm's review for this product. And speak of the devil, there he is, harvesting as many subscribers as he can. Good man. I've done the shout out for you, buddy. I've done the shout out. I can't do any more. If you remind me, I'll link to yours at the end of this one, or try and remember to do it. So this might be slightly unusual because I am actually running this just now. I actually have a coil in it just now. I'm vaping it. Normally I have it stripped down, cleaned, all the rest of it, and then do it down low and so on and so forth. Short and sweet version, this has been 2 years in the making, this RDA. Aaron was doing this. Hussar have made this. This is I was going to say Hussar Vapes, but it's not Hussar Vapes, it's Hussar. Used their machine shop to produce this RDA. So it's all Matthias's fault. It's as simple as that. I shouldn't say that. Matthias, I'm joking. But it's finally, I'll try to remember, it's only in the past few weeks that it actually came out. Maybe a month, 2 months it came out, and then I got one sent on. I used it. There was a bit of let's just get into the down low stuff, and I'll tell you how I've been getting on. Okay, so first off, let me find my glasses. As usual, here's my glasses. So when you get this, when you buy this, it's going to come in a little beauty case, just like this, which is, everything was wrapped up, very, very well presented. And I'll be damned if I can remember what the retail price was for it, because obviously being a freeloading reviewer, I got this free to review, and I can't remember what the price was in it. So if anybody can remember the price, then please let me know. You are going to get a little packet, and in here you'll have a solid 510, you get a squonky 510, a couple of post screws and O-rings. You're also going to get some of these little doodads. Now you're going to get the direct lung ones, which I have fitted, which are 4x2mm. You get the RDL ones, which are 2 1.5mm holes. You get a mouth to lung, which is here, which is 1mm, so 2 1mm, or you get one that you can block one side off. I must admit, I prefer having both sides open. I think you get more flavour that way, but the option is there if you want to block it off. And I have the direct lung ones already in there. You are going to get some of these as well. You'll get an Ultim one, That is it comes out there. That's a 510 drip tip. It's just held into your top cap by an O-ring. I will say with all these O-rings on here, you really want to lube them up before you do anything. As soon as this arrives, take it to bits, get it lubed up, and do what you like after that. But yes, lube it up. But currently, it is sitting on a BAM, Big Apple Mods, and this is it. This is it. Now this is a 22mm RDA. Now, as always, I'm going to review, or I'm going to tell you how I've been getting on with the device that I have here. I will say that a couple of the things I'm going to mention here as being issues are being corrected for batch 2. This is from batch 1. Batch 2 will have updates that will remedy some issues from here, but we're going to crack on and I'll let you know. Anyway, the first issue that is going to be addressed is the fact that yeah, the 510 pin on it is too long. It's on the floor. It's on the floor. Don't panic. Don't panic. Hang on. Just excuse me whilst I get the TJ fur off of this and pretend like that never happened. Here's one I made earlier. Yeah, if I take this off, then this is just so long. In fact, you need the 24mm beauty ring, or I do. Every mod I put it on without the beauty ring, I have a gap. I just have a gap. So that is going to be corrected. This will be shorter, which is a good thing. I mean, it does look good like that, don't get me wrong, but for me, I like my 22mm RDAs. Huge fan of beauty rings, I must admit. It's still covered. It's still covered in. How do I always drop shit? Just because I'm special. We do have a serial number down here, and we've got the current RDA going on. You can see we've got a squonky pin in there, and it looks similar. It's taken inspiration from some of Aaron's favourite RDAs, and to be perfectly blunt, I mean, he was the first one to admit, or first one to say where he got a lot of his inspiration from, and the main one would be from the Typhoon BTD, or the Typhon BTD, for those uneducated people out there like myself. Top cap, obviously it's juicy in there just now, but you can see there's a little indentation just below that air hole there, and that lines up with this here, which basically means that it locks the whole thing into place like that. Basically, yeah, so the airflow is controlled via your insert and not spinning the top cap, just to make that clear. Don't look at chat, don't look at chat. Let's pull that off. So here we go. What we have here, and I'll clean this off so it looks prettier. This is why you should never do these live things on the fly. I need a pointy tool. We have a pointy tool here. So here's your airflow insert here, okay? Now this ring here, there's an O-ring underneath there, and this should move left to right, but it doesn't do it very well, I'm afraid to say. It doesn't do it very well. So basically, when you've put your coil in, you've got everything set up, you move this ring so you can see it narrows down here. That's going to hold your insert in place. The insert comes out the front, and once again it's dual-sided. When you want to put a coil in or change the inserts out, then you would spin this back, and this is where I end up stabbing myself in live. See, this is just going to be an absolute dick. See, what you're trying to do is to get this cut out here to here. Oh, God damn it. I'm not making this up. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. This is just oh, and if I just bent that, please tell me I didn't just bend that. I bet you I just bent that. Oh, you absolute moron to hell. It's not as good as this. Should move freely. So when it does, you should be able to spin it so that it ends up sitting there like that, and you have your cutouts. And now you can see that the air pins, I can actually take them, I can push them in and out basically. They come out the front, and once you finish putting your build in, then you're going to spin this back, and that's going to close off your rod hole here, your coil rod hole, and it'll lock the insert into place. It just doesn't work that great, I'm afraid to say. See, there we go. Right, see how it's pushing it back in? But it's a shame. There's no two ways about it. I have read in the Facebook group, and I do realise that most people, what they do is they just lift the thing off like that, do what they need to do, and then they put it back in place. So there you go. I'm not going to take the coil out. I'm going to say it's a 4-poster. One thing that does concern me about the posts, I will be completely honest, is I'm not sure if this will show up. Can you see the gap on the inside of this screw here, post screw? There's quite a gap there. I personally prefer it when your post screw is up against the inside here. That way your wire, if you're using thin wire, it's going to get trapped. If you're using thin wire or thin-ish wire, then you run the risk of your wire getting stuck in this gap here and not getting clamped properly. So I would like to have seen these posts moved in just a tiny little bit. But because it's a 4-poster, you know, it's dead easy. It's dead easy putting any coil in there. Now, just going to dig this out, and hopefully you will see the well there, and the hole for the squonking actually comes out the side of the main post here. It actually comes out the side, and that makes for a great squonker, in my opinion. It really does. There's only one little downside of this, and I'm not sorry if I'm laying on the cons here so thick. Where this comes in, this comes right into, there's a middle section underneath the coil. Basically you have to slam the coil, in my opinion, you have to slam the coil down. You want to make sure that you can see the bottom half of the coil through this air hole or through any of your air holes, and you can see how low that is sitting there right now. That is not where the coiling rod would suggest you put it. The coiling rod puts it a lot higher. Also, the coiling rod cutout will not take a 3mm coiling rod. That's something else that's going to be addressed in batch 2. This is going to be made bigger. If you over squonk and you get juice up just underneath the coil, it can block these holes up, especially the mouth to lung and the RDL, and you can end up with juice getting trapped in the holes here, and you have to kind of like blow it or suck it out. And yeah, that's only if you over squonk. So at the end of the day, it's really your fault. You've over squonked, but it's just something to be wary of. I'm looking for the cutout. I'm just going to put this back on just now from the top. There we go. And then we're going to grab this. We're going to put it down here. Is that the right side? That's the right side. There we go. And that is pretty much it for up close on this live is so much fun. It's fun because stuff goes wrong. Stuff goes wrong. Putting a coil in, dead easy. Squonking, you can squonk comfortably with it. It's not one you have to keep an eye on. That ring is it's just a pain. It could have been implemented. It's just a pain. There's no two ways about it. It's a bit of a disappointing, to be honest. If you do not get your coil in the right place, this thing is noisy, very, very noisy. But that's just because you've got the coil in the wrong place. Get it down lower. In my opinion, you have to get this coil down really, really low. Now, restricted direct lung, I find this to be not half bad at all. The flavour from it is actually up there. It's not just good, I'd say it's up there. Not up there with the best, but it's up there. As far as switch that on, never thought to try and pull the whole ring. Tonome, I swear to God, it did my head in. And actually, I don't know about you as a reviewer, but I try to avoid going on to Facebook groups and reading up and stuff. I try to, you want your own opinions. But it was got to the point where I wondered, am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? So I had to go and check it out, and that's what other people were doing. Dibs in the Atty stand. No. Adrian, does the air reducer slide any better without its O-ring? It's just loose without an O-ring, and thinking a different O-ring may work. I 100% agree. But as always, the price you're paying for these things, that should work out the box. You're absolutely right with your take on it, and me personally, yes, I would go and find another O-ring. I would try and make it work better, but it's just, yeah. Yes, quick puff. That's direct lung, and seriously, the review I did record for this, I had that coil, and I'm talking a fraction of a mil higher than it is just now. And when I took a draw on it, it sounded like I was taking a draw through a toilet roll holder tube. It just sounded terrible. Just pushed it down a fraction, and it's now smooth, it's not noisy, and it's direct lung, and it's still great. That's actually really good. So credit where it's due. Summing this up, this RDA, and I'm going to be brutally honest. The one I have here, if you get offered one from batch 1, personally I wouldn't. I would skip it. Look for batch 2 when it comes out. Now obviously those people that bought one from batch 1, they are being offered free the updated deck when it comes out, which is great, and I tip my hat to Aaron for addressing those issues and for putting out a free update for the people that bought an original one. That's great. That's the way it should be done. It just shouldn't, and I'm sorry Aaron, it just shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have gone out like that. Yeah, that's how I feel about it anyway. Now, what Tonome's saying there is kind of what I was trying to address. So you've got your wells that go down. So your wells are like this, and then up the top you've got this bridge, if you like. and your inserts sit level with that bridge, if you get any juice on that raised deck, if you like, then you will get juice bouncing about, and it's sound when you take a draw, and I've done this before, I've talked about this before, you hear it's almost like air bouncing about. It's like stereo, you know, when you hear volume going from one speaker to the other speaker. That's kind of what happens, because you've got air in the holes and it's bouncing about. You're over squonking basically, that's causing that. Or if you get any juice on the deck, that is, yes, that's something you have to be careful and watch out for. But the one thing I found of getting around that is when I first built this, what I was doing was doing what we always do, is you stick all that cotton down into the wells. So when you squonked, the juice is coming out into the well, it's hitting the side of that cotton that's all jammed in there and coming straight up and onto the deck. Feather out your cotton, make sure that you're not covering the squonk holes on the side of the wells, and let that juice get into the wells and then wick up. I don't know why I do all that. It's like I'm part Italian. Just so yes, John, it sounds like the earplugs should be higher. Yeah, especially when you look at how low you have to get the coil in the deck as well. It's like there's all this extra height on it. It's a strange one. I know, and I'm not making excuses here. This is what I would say if Aaron was sitting beside me just now, okay? And I would say this to you if we were sitting in the pub and you asked me to describe this RDA. I'd wait for the second one. I'd let him iron out the problems. I just wish these problems didn't exist. I was rather excited for this RDA because I know how Aaron is a squonker. He's passionate about squonking. I mean, he likes squonking. And I just wish that those little niggles weren't there, because if they weren't there, it would be a great RDA. Whereas right now, it's not so great. The flavour's there, don't get me wrong, the flavour's there, and it'll vape great. It's just not as good as it should be. That's it. That's my honest take on it. I can't believe that you actually... Stereo doesn't mean a device, it means sound that's mixed left and right. I don't have stereo, I live in 2023. My God, there's a Mexican. There's always a Mexican causing the problems. Mo, thank God you're here. You should have been here earlier. It's been going terribly wrong. But now you're here as my comfort blanket. You can keep me right. But that's it for the current RDA. Do you know, it's people think it's all sunshine and roses, and it's really easy just hammering a device and saying, "Oh, this is shit," and or whatever, and all that. But there's never any need to speak about a device like that, and it's even harder when you know the people that are making it, but you still have to be honest at the end of the day. But you don't have to be a dick about it. I just hope he gets it, all the problems ironed out. Batch 2 is excellent, and it sells like hotcakes. There are also full Ultim caps, so all the materials that you saw for the top section, there's full caps coming out in those materials and drip tips to match that are just going up in the Facebook group. Pardon me, but that is it. Unless anybody's got any questions, I'm going to vamoose, because this is not a vlog. This was supposed to be a quick dirty review. And yes, Mr. Frape, constructive criticism is key. No ulterior motives. I just got my words wrong. It's getting really hot in here because the door's closed and it's 20 degrees, which is very hot for Scotland. But that's it. Where's TJ? Too hot in here for a mate. He's in the house, chilling out. But there we go. Once again, Tonome, who is in chat, Tonome XO, he has done a review for this, a proper review. Did it a few weeks ago. Go and watch that and see what he's saying about it. But he's American, so he'll have got it all wrong. That's sarcasm, just in case you didn't know. Thank you so much for coming along and watching, and I will be offline for the rest of this week. There will be no reviews, but I will be back the following week, and we shall have lots of stuff to show you. Lots of stuff. But I am going to find the off button. Where's the off? There's the off button. Can you tell I'm a vaping professional?